Hello YouTube. Just wanted to do a quick video today showing you the three different e-bike models that I own and giving you a quick impressions video of each bike and who might be interested in which one versus the others. So you can see I have three bikes. The first two bikes that you see here are from Ride1Up. It's the Ride1Up Core-5. You see this one here with the integrated battery, no fenders, relatively light e-bike. That's the Core-5 from Ride1Up. And then you see the Ride1Up 700. This is my wife's bike, and I'll tell you why she chose that bike and what her impressions are of it in just a moment. And then the Lectric XP, one of the most popular e-bikes in America right now. So all these bikes are let's say sub $1,500 with the XP, and the Core-5 being more in the $1,000 price point. So all great e-bikes. Can't recommend any of them enough. If you order any one of these e-bikes, you're going to be happy with it and you're going to enjoy your experience. But let me tell you just a little bit about each one, just comparatively, if you're sort of thinking about this type of e-bike or in this price range. So the Ride1Up Core-5, this is my bike. I consider this my daily driver. I did a shootout. You'll see I did a shootout video between the Ride1Up Core-5 and the XP. It was a white XP. We actually have a fourth bike that's white. This is what I consider my XP, sort of my backup bike. And the XP actually won that shootout. But I've actually rectified one of the issues that was key in that shootout. And I made a video about this, but essentially it won because this Ride1Up Core-5, I could not get in that upright riding position with the way that it came from Ride1Up. And I rectified that, or I corrected that, by adding this adjustable stem, which brought the swept-back handlebars up and closer to the rider, and that gave me that more of a upright, relaxed riding style that I was looking for. And that simple change really made this my favorite, I think, of these three bikes. I mean, it's tough because they're all great, but I love it and I consider it my primary bike. So the second bike here is the 700. 700 is about, let's say, $400 more expensive than this Core-5 from Ride1Up. It's in the $1,500 price range. And for that, you get hydraulic brakes, you get a little better, bigger and better tires, you get a front suspension fork that you'll see there. Let's see, what else do you get? I don't know, a few other little, I think the battery's upgraded a little bit. You get a 14 amp hour battery. So you get a few upgrades. You get a rack in the back. So that's the bike that my wife wanted, and that's the one she bought, and she absolutely loves it. I think the main reason she loves it is that step through when we get to a stop sign or to a stoplight and she's gonna hop off that seat, just not having anything there and not having to lift her leg over to get on. She loves that. It's a big bike, but even though it's a big bike, she's 5'2", fairly small lady. She just loves it. And so she's ridden this Core-5, she's ridden this Lectric, but she loves this 700, even though it's, in a sense, a larger bike. It's just more accessible, and so she feels more comfortable on it. Let's talk a little bit about speed. I think there's an impression that, I know certainly when I was looking at e-bikes, I was like, well, which one's faster and which one has more power and which one has more torque? Between these three bikes, I get on them. I've ridden them, both of them, a lot. I don't notice a difference between any of them. They all get up to 28 miles an hour. The Core-5 is actually a little quicker to get up to 28 miles an hour than the Lectric. I haven't raced the 700, but I would say it's somewhere in between the two, or maybe right with the Core-5. But when you're riding them by themselves and you're not actually racing, you can't tell a difference. And they all go 28 miles an hour. 28 miles an hour is plenty fast, and they all get up to speed plenty fast. So I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time. You know, maybe if you live in a hilly area, we don't have, you know, huge hills here. And so I haven't been able to really determine the difference that a certain, 50 Newton meters of torque is versus 75 Newton meters of torque on this big long hill. You know, you'll have to go to someone else to get that feedback if you're in that situation. But if you're like us and you just have minor hills and you're going to be riding it around town on streets or on sidewalks primarily, I wouldn't make your decision based on whether this is a 500 motor or a 750 motor or how many Newton meters of torque. And you know, I know there's a bunch of spreadsheet warriors out there that balance all that out, and I wouldn't spend a lot of time on that. The Lectric XP, let me just give you a quick overview of it. Man, that's just a fun bike, scooter-like feel. I call it a scooter on steroids. So, you know, you got those big fat tires, you got that upright riding style. It folds, it'll go into the back of your SUV. You don't have to buy a rack for the back of your car to carry it around. It's just got a ton of flexibility. Again, it's really fun to drive. It's got plenty of power. It's got a solid battery with name brand components in the battery, name get brand components on the bike, and so it's just good overall bike and a great value at $899. So I would say from a component standpoint, you know, you've got a higher level Shimano derailleur on the 700 than either of the other two bikes. You've got hydraulic brakes. I was really surprised how hydraulic brakes, you just touch those with your pinky and you're coming to a stop. I mean, they really are something neat. You know, I stopped fine on my other two bikes with mechanical brakes, mechanical disc brakes. And so, you know, is it something you need? I would say no, it's not something you need. It's just kind of cool to have. So from a component standpoint, you're going to be better off with the 700. But none of those things are have-to-have kind of things. And if you just want a fun bike with plenty of speed that you can customize and make comfortable for yourself, any of these models are going to do it fine. The electric bike does it at $900 price point and folds up and goes in your car. That's a real attractive value there. The Core-5 does it at $1,100 in great style and great comfort, and I just love the look of it, and it's just kind of won my heart. And then the 700 from a component standpoint, you know, is going to probably be the most components for the money. And then that step through. The Lectric XP now comes in a true step through, and I think they're going to be making the Core-5 in a true step through. But my wife just loves this 700 Ride1Up step through. So anyway, just a quick overview of our bikes. We live in Central Texas in the Bryan College Station area. If any of you are in Texas, that's kind of in between San Antonio, Houston, Austin, Dallas. Any of you are considering these bikes and want to ride or test drive these, you know, it's really hard when you're shopping on the internet and you're going to buy something at the $1,000 plus price point and you don't get to try it. So contact me over YouTube, or you can look me up through the Facebook owners group for both of these manufacturers, and I'd be glad to let you drive one of these bikes. So just trying to grow the community, love e-bikes, and just enjoy getting to know all of you. So feel free to comment below, ask questions below, and if you want to come drive, we can set that up. Thanks. Bye.